I'm young in my faith. How can I spread the words of Jesus and not be a hypocrite? I don't always have answers for people. Okay, great question. That is a really good question. How can I spread the words of Jesus and not be a hypocrite? On one level, I'm going to tell you something. You can't. You can't. Because all of us are striving to be like Jesus, striving for the perfection of Jesus, and all of us fail, right? So at one level, every single person who's a follower of Jesus says, I'm striving for this level, I'm only hitting this level, and there's going to be some element of hypocrisy there. The best thing that you can do is to admit your hypocrisy right up front. And not pretend to be perfect, not pretend to be better than the people who are around you, but just to be somebody who's on a journey, who's discovered something awesome, and that's Jesus. It's not something that qualitatively makes me a better human being, but it's the coolest discovery in the history of the world, and I'd really like to let you in on it because you could discover it and know Jesus too, and he swaps out all of your junk for his righteousness, and that's really good news. So that's what I would say, is, just kind of admit that that's the case for every single human being. Now, the second half said something about, I don't have all of the answers, and that's true of every single person. I would never encourage somebody to not share their faith because they don't have all the answers. The reason is, you'll never get started. Nobody would be sharing their faith that way, because the truth is, even after 25 years of studying this really hard, I don't have all the answers either, but I love to let people in on Jesus, and it's not because I've got all the answers, it's because Jesus is really, really good. And I want to introduce people to him and have them experience the truth of who he is. And so here's what I find, is that when people ask me questions I don't know the answer to, you know what I say? Yeah, I say, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. Usually what I say is, I don't know the answer to that question, but I'll do some research and come back and talk to you more. And that does two really good things. One is it helps me to be able to have an answer to that question the next time it comes up. The other thing that it does is it gives me an excuse to talk to that person about spiritual things again. Here's what I find. I find that when you say, I don't know, genuinely to people who are not yet Christians, their respect to you does not go down, it goes up. They go, hey, I'm glad that you're honest enough to admit when you don't have the answers. And then they say, I'm glad that you care enough to go home, do research, and bring something back for me. That really shows that you're a good friend. And so I would encourage people to go ahead, even if you don't have the answers, and have the boldness to just say, I don't know, if you don't know the answers.